Hyun Kim arrives and retaliates against Hajun-gu. The quest window indicates that he throws a jab. He tells Kyuja that if it weren't for him, he doubts he could have endured a day at this school. Meanwhile, a student swiftly enters the classroom and reports that a fight is occurring. A student inquires about the identities of the fighters, while another asks about the location of the altercation. The informant specifies that it's happening at the back of the school building, involving Soo-hyun Kim and Hajun-gu. The students gather to witness the confrontation. One questions whether Soo-hyun Kim is indeed participating in the fight, expressing doubt since it was described as such. Another student questions if it can even be classified as a fight. A different student wonders if Soo-hyun is simply going to be overpowered. Yet another student asks what might be wrong with Soo-hyun and if he initiated the confrontation with Hajun. Another student ponders whether someone should intervene to stop them. Karen Beek remarks that Soo-hyun could potentially be seriously harmed and advocates for someone to intervene. Another student questions how exactly they are supposed to do that. Hajun-gu challenges Soo-hyun, questioning if he truly wants to engage in a fight and expressing surprise since he believes they are friends. He clarifies that the only friend he has made at school is Kyuja, and he is prepared to engage in combat using quest cards. He utilizes an attack card with maximum capacity, which lasts for 5 seconds, confidently asserting that he will render Soo-hyun unconscious within that time frame. The quest window notifies the initiation of the quest. A student asks, "What did he just say?" The student wearing a tie responds, saying he mentioned he would knock him out in 5 seconds. Another student inquires about knocking Hajun out. The student with the tie asks if Hajun struck him in the head or something. The student in the black jacket questions if this guy is serious. Another student mentioned hearing that he's a fairly decent boxer though. Someone else remarks incredulously, saying no way, he must be joking, but still, he's no match for Hajun. Soo-hyun Kim believes he can succeed, noting that his jabs have become much stronger, and he throws a jab at Hajun. Everyone is shocked to witness this. Hajun swiftly evades and remarks that it's already been 5 seconds. He launches another attack. A student comments that's impressive, likening the scene to watching a boxing match. The quest window notifies that he threw a jab. A student asks what's up with Soo-hyun and remarks that they didn't know he was that skilled at boxing. Another student asserts that Hajun can't do anything. Someone else questions what exactly is happening. Soo-hyun Kim attempts to strike again. A student comments that at this rate, Soo-hyun might actually emerge victorious. The quest window notifies that he threw a jab. The student with the tie asks, what if Hajun really loses? The student in the black jacket intervenes, admonishing them not to speak in such a manner. Changdong Choi wonders if this situation isn't somewhat peculiar. He asks what he means by this. Changdong Choi explains that it's reminiscent of when he fought him before. Hajun-gu attacks Soo-hyun. Changdong Choi suggests that he seems to only know how to throw jabs. Soo-hyun Kim collapses onto the floor. Hajun-gu remarks that it seems like that's the only move he can execute. Soo-hyun retorts, saying all he needs is 5 seconds. He slaps his and declares that this is absurd, questioning if he genuinely planned to defeat him with just a jab. The scene shifts to a flashback where Soo-hyun Kim wakes up in his room and wonders if he can emerge victorious and defeat Hajun-gu with just a jab. He reflects that while his jabs have certainly become stronger, there's no way it's potent enough to serve as a finishing move against Hajun. He muses that perhaps the only recourse is to utilize the card he obtained from completing that side quest, the maximum capacity card. He expresses that it would have been preferable if it were a tackle or some sort of jiu-jitsu move, but he supposes he must lure Hajun into a false sense of security in order to employ it. He recalls that the maximum capacity card lasts for 5 seconds, and if he can defeat Hajun within that time frame, he has no alternative. The scene shifts to the present, where Soo-hyun Kim moves to attack Hajun-gu and declares that he only has 5 seconds. Hajun-gu punches him and questions his actions. A student interjects, asking if Soo-hyun was attempting to tackle Hajun just now. Changdong Choi explains that it's because Hajun is a boxer, unlike Soo-hyun, who isn't an athlete, and considering the difference in weight classes, a tackle wouldn't be effective against him. Soo-hyun once again mentions the 5-second limit and realizes that in order to use the maximum capacity card, he needs to persist. The quest window notifies that he has used the Hit Those High Notes card. Hajun-gu questions his actions once more before striking him again. Soo-hyun persists in his attacks, thinking that he can't relent until Hajun grows weary of him. He strikes him on the chin once more, repeating his question about his actions. He, determined, continues his assault, thinking that he must keep going until he gets an opportunity. He grabs hold of Hajun's shirt and holds a bean in his teeth, recognizing it as his chance. The quest window notifies him that he has used the healing bean and his stamina has been restored. The student with the jacket remarks that Hajun has started swearing and they need to stop him. Another student expressed that they anticipated this outcome. Yet another student asserts that this isn't just a mere fight. Hajun-gu declares that he will truly harm him and clenches his arm, believing Sehyun won't be able to resist. Sehyun Kim grabs hold of him with both arms and utters maximum capacity. He explains that it's an attack card with a different style than a jab, and the ability of the maximum capacity card lasts for 5 seconds. The quest window notifies that he has used the maximum capacity card. He realizes that his current weight is 344 pounds, and the quest window indicates that the maximum capacity countdown has commenced. Sehyun Kim lifts Hajun and moves upward, stunning everyone who witnesses this feat. He realizes that he possesses the strength equivalent to someone weighing 344 pounds, enabling him to hurl Hajun with the force of all 344 pounds. He beats him on the floor, removes his jacket, and punches him in the face. He reflects that his punch also carries the force of all 344 pounds behind it, marveling at the power behind his punches. The quest window notifies that the maximum capacity has reached its time limit. Sehyun Kim also falls to the ground. Hajun-gu declares that he has won. The quest window notifies that the main quest is complete. Everyone is shocked to witness this. The quest window announces that he has received a platinum card and asks if he wants to claim his reward. Sehyun screams and demands if he would like to give him the reward. The scene shifts to the school where 2 students are sitting in the classroom gossiping. One student glances towards Hajun's seat and remarks that Hajun didn't come to school today either. The other question is whether he would dare to show up after what happened, mentioning that he got beaten in front of the entire school. He expresses hope that Hajun never returns and adds that now he feels like he can finally breathe without him around. He marvels at how amazing it was and wonders who would have expected Hajun-gu to lose that fight, especially to someone like Sehyun Kim, whom he refers to as a loser. A student interrupts, signaling that someone is passing through. Another student asks who he is. The first student explains that he's their school's top dog. They identify him as Sehyun Kim, the one who defeated Hajun-gu in a fight. The first student repeats their school's top dog. Sehyun Kim walks down the hallway, reflecting on how things turned out like this. After a while, he sits in the bathroom, holding his new card, and remarks that he finally has a platinum card, indicating that he indeed defeated Hajun-gu. He reflects on enduring all the challenges to obtain the platinum card, which is supposed to be 1 level above a gold card. He commands the card to be claimed and wonders about the potential of this amazing card. The card notifies him that it is a peek card, allowing him to observe another person. He questions what this means, expressing disappointment that it's not an attack card as he had hoped for something more powerful than a jab. He ponders if it's a good card, but wonders what exactly he can peek at in another person. Kujaya interrupts, asking what he's mumbling about in there. He quickly responds that it's nothing and exits the bathroom to wash his hands. Kujaya suggests they should leave, to which he agrees, stating that he's ready. Kujaya then asks if he's truly prepared for this, to which he confidently replies, "Let's go then." Upon coming out, Kujaya remarks that he is too close. He apologizes, and everyone starts gossiping upon seeing him. A girl identifies him as Sehyun Kim, and another echoes the sentiment. Another person mentions him as the one who defeated Hajun-gu. Sehyun Kim feels dizzy, realizing how widely the news has spread. A girl comments that he looks like a nice guy, but another interjects, claiming it's just a facade. According to her, he lulls his opponents into a false sense of security with his innocent-looking face before launching surprise attacks. She deems it sneaky. She added that she heard Hajun was still in the hospital, explaining his absence from school. Sehyun Kim overhears this and thinks otherwise, knowing that Hajun is fine and simply skipping school. A student mentions that Sehyun apparently even attacked Hajun's dad, prompting surprise from the others. He mentions that his MBTI result labeled him as a psychopath, sounding like a total maniac. He reflects on how these rumors are spiraling out of control. A student points to Kujaya and remarks that evidently the guy beside him is just as frightening. Another student asked if that guy was a student. He states that he heard Kyuja is actually 48 years old. The other speculates that he might be the son of a Yakuza member. Sehyeon Kim ponders on the rumors surrounding Kyuja and realizes that they are bringing down a lot of heat on him. A student contradicts this, saying that Kyuja is Sehyeon Kim's right-hand man and that they supposedly fought for 3 days straight to determine the pecking order. Sehyeon Kim feels the need to clarify to everyone that it's all a misunderstanding. Suddenly, he bumps into Hyundong Lee. Hyundong Lee apologizes and asks if he is Sehyeon Kim, the one who won against Hajun-gu in a fight. Sehyeon Kim confirms that he is indeed Sehyeon Kim and asks if he has done something wrong. Hyundong Lee seizes the opportunity to properly greet him, introducing himself as the first-year top dog Hyundong Lee. His companions also bow down. Sehyeon Kim asks what's happening and why first-years are greeting them like this. Hyundong Lee explains that it's because Sehyeon Kim is the new top dog of West Gangbuk High, so it's only proper for them to greet him as their seniors. Sehyeon Kim questions who declared him the top dog and why they're greeting him in such a manner. Hyundong Lee realizes this and suggests they should kneel instead. Sehyeon Kim quickly advises against it, stating that it's all a misunderstanding. He clarifies that he doesn't intend to become a top dog and just wants to attend school peacefully. Hyundong Lee interprets this as intending to abandon them. Sehyeon Kim inquires about what Hyundong Lee meant by abandon, stating that there is nothing to abandon. He acknowledges the situation and moves on, excusing himself. Sehyeon Kim shouts for them to get out of there, expressing his reluctance to get involved with those people. He questions what's going on with those guys. Kyuja explains that Hyundong Lee, the first-year top dog, used to follow Hajun-gu around, but Hajun apparently found him annoying. Sehyeon Kim asks if Hyundong followed Hajun around. Kyuja confirms, stating that Hyundong had a reason for doing so. Now that someone as strong as Hajun has lost to Sehyeon, Hyundong has come seeking him, the new top dog at school, for the same reason. Kyuja adds that he heard Hyundong is the younger brother of Hyundo Lee at Yiwon High School. Sehyeon Kim expresses disbelief and asks about his reason. Kyuja explains that Hyundong's reason is to unite all of Gangbuk. He elaborates, describing Gangbuk as currently a battlefield, with the 4 most powerful high schools expanding their influence. While Hajun-gu wasn't interested in unification, he believed that Hyundong Lee felt differently. He mentions that he wants to unite all of Gangbuk with him. Sehyeon Kim thinks that's ridiculous, and he should never get mixed up with that guy or his plans for the unification of Gangbuk. He wonders why anyone would want to unite it anyway. He resolves to ensure he never gets involved in Hyundong's business, especially since things are finally looking up at school now that Hajun is gone. He simply wants to attend school without any trouble. The quest window notifies him that a new quest has been created, with the objective being to win over the first years of West Gangbuk High 01, and the reward is unknown. He decides to abandon the quest. The quest window notifies him that once a quest is abandoned, quest windows will never appear again, and all rewards are forfeited. He considers that if he forfeits or fails the quest and his rewards disappear, he will be fine for a little while. However, someday, people will realize that he is weak, and then things will revert to how they were before. He inwardly criticizes them, calling them morons, and claims that he was testing them. He declares that from this moment onward, he will be taking over West Gangbuk High. Hyundong expresses its intention to unite Gangbuk. He feigns pleasure at seeing his underlings so happy, though he inwardly acknowledges that he never said he would unite Gangbuk and feels a sense of unease. He believes that things won't worsen from this point onward, and that there won't be any more fights, but then he hesitates, realizing that quests are always created whenever something like that happens. After a while, he sits in class, glances at the card, and thinks that he still hasn't tried using it yet. It's not like he's had a chance to use it. He had to deal with those first years all day. He knows he needs to try it out sometime today, but it's been such a long day, and he feels zoned out. Karen Beek approaches him and asks what he's up to now. She mentions hearing rumors around school that he has taken over West Gangbuk High. He denies it, but she mentions hearing that he was going to unite all of Gangbuk. He denies this as well. She finds it hilarious and asks what's going on, questioning why he's staring at him like that. She reiterates that she's talking to him, and he responds by suggesting that she peek at her. Confused, she asks what he means and pauses. The quest window notifies that he used the peek at his card and is now peeking at Karen Beek. She asks what's going on. The quest window shows Karen Beek's strength, speed, potential, endurance, and intelligence. He realizes that this is peeking. He can see his opponent's stats, which isn't quite what he hoped for but still pretty cool. He notes that her stats are lower than expected. Karen Beek demands to know what he is doing, stating that he is pissing her off for some reason. He thought Karen would be a better fighter and suggested peeking at her while pondering if he could use this ability on himself too. She slaps him and tells him to cut that out. He considers that he might actually lose to her in a fight and understands what the rest of the stats mean, but he's unsure about the potential stat. She leaves the room, announcing her departure. He thinks that perhaps the potential stat refers to someone's hidden potential in a fight. Since it's called peek at her, he wasn't expecting much from it, but this card might turn out to be more useful than he thought. After a while, Sehyeon Kim and Kyuja walk with Hyundong Lee and his friends. Hyundong Lee commands, "Out of their way, move." His black-haired friend remarks, "He's trying to catch these hands." The bald boy declares, "Top dog of West Gangbuk coming through." Hyundong Lee urges them to come at them, as they've got nothing to lose. Sehyeon Kim considers putting a stop to it. Everyone is looking at him strangely. A student asks if he has heard, and another states that they will eviscerate anyone who gets too close, mentioning that they even attacked the principal. Sehyeon Kim thinks to himself that he has never eviscerated anyone in his entire life. Hyundong Lee boasts about how happy everyone at school looks to see him, as expected from the new leader of West Gangbuk. He questions what Hyundong Lee is talking about and asserts that no one looks happy. Everyone is staring at him as if he were a piece of shit. He whispers, asking why Hyundong is doing this, and if he has something to say it, and then leave. Hyundong Lee acknowledges that he understands what Sehyeon is implying and hands him an envelope, saying, "Here he goes." He explained that it contained the money collected from other students that month. Sehyeon Kim demands to know why they're giving him this money and why the envelope is so bloody. Hyundong Lee reveals that the blood is from the first-year students. Sehyeon Kim quickly retracts his question, telling him not to answer, and turns to Kyuja, asking why he's tucking the money into his vest. He insists that Kyuja give it back, and that they shouldn't take that money. Hyundong Lee asserts that it's not enough. Just as he thought, Sehyeon is a man of a different caliber, and he will increase the fee they are collecting from the students. Sehyeon protests, stating that's not what he meant, and wonders what's up with these idiots. He pleads for them to get out of there, issuing it as an order. He wonders what the hell is Hyundong's deal and decides to peek at him. The quest window displays Hyundong Lee's abilities, causing Sehyeon to suddenly feel embarrassed for some reason. Sehyeon Kim concludes that he is a total thug, and he shouldn't get mixed up with someone like him. He calls out to Hyundong and asks where he is going, convinced that whatever he wants from him, it's going to be nothing but trouble. Hyundong explains that he needs to attend his inauguration as the new leader of West Gangbuk High. Sehyeon Kim turns back and inquires about the inauguration. The quest window notifies that a new main quest is available, attending the leader's inauguration ceremony. Sehyeon acknowledges that he should attend the inauguration as the new leader of the school. Hyundong Lee praises him, saying he is so cool, and declares himself the top dog of West Gangbuk, ready to confront any challengers. After a while, in a classroom, everyone chants Gangbuk Unite and bows down. Kyuja instructs everyone to relax. Sehyeon Kim stands up and advises against humoring them, declaring that the inauguration ceremony is over. Hyundong then announces that Sehyeon needs to be briefed next and presents a map. Sehyeon agrees but urges him to make it quick, wondering when they prepared all that. Hyundong explains that Gangbuk is currently a war zone. Sehyeon questions how he would know that. Hyundong elaborates, stating that Johan Seong, who had previously united all of Gangbuk, gave up his position, leading to an all-out turf war. Sehyeon remarks that he's not listening, but Hyundong continues, mentioning that East Gangbuk High, led by a reckless leader, is out of control, with rumors suggesting he earns money by exploiting people. He continues, mentioning South Gangbuk High next. They are the exact opposite of East High, comprising a group of model students, and their leader is apparently a nice guy as well. However, that group also runs a business, so there's probably something more going on with them too. He emphasizes the importance of ensuring West Gangbuk High does not get taken over by them. Sehyeon Kim questions why they can't just let them take over and why they need to unite Gangbuk in the first place. He wonders if they come to attack them here, they can just call the police on them. Kyuja instructs someone to get him some water, and he asks for a glass of water for Kyuja. He questions if they can't all just get along, and if he is that desperate to get involved in some turf war. Hyundong Lee responds to Sehyeon's suggestion of getting along, saying that probably won't be possible. He explains that those idiots are already quite suspicious of him. Sehyeon Kim asks why. Hyundong reveals that rumors have already spread, calling him Tank Top Sehyeon, the man who wears his tank top crisscrossed as he strikes down his enemies. Sehyeon Kim angrily demands to know who spread those ridiculous rumors. Hyundong Lee admits to spreading them. Sehyeon asks if he is kidding and insists that he is not getting into any more fights. He tells them all to stop following him around, stating that having them around is causing all these rumors to start circulating. Kyuja then suggests that they will see him later, but Sehyeon tells him to be quiet. Hyundong then asks about the upcoming Gangbuk conference. Sehyeon questions what that's about and states that he wants no part of it. He just wants to attend school in peace. After a while, Sehyeon Kim sits at home watching TV and thinks he made the right decision. Why does he have to protect West Gangbuk High? He wonders why he needs to get into fights to protect the school. It doesn't make any sense. Dahyun comes home and asks what exactly he has been up to at school, and if he knows what everyone's been calling her. She mentions being referred to as the little sister of Tank Top Sehyeon. Sehyeon questions Blade of Frost, wondering why seniors at school bow to him whenever they see him. He reassures her, saying not to worry about it, as he sorted all that stuff out today, and he won't get himself into any trouble with that Gangbuk conference or whatever it is. Dahyun expresses her frustration, saying it's pissing her off, but she admits it's still better than seeing him bullied and beaten up all the time. She warns him that if he goes to that Gangbuk conference or whatever, she will tell their mom. Sehyeon reassures her again, telling her not to worry about it. He feels free now and thinks he can just be a normal student. Meanwhile, a student calls Yiha-han, who is the top dog of East Gangbuk High, and asks if he has heard about West Gangbuk High. Yiha-han inquires if it is something he needs to know. The student confirms that he thinks Yiha-han does need to know. Yiha-han tells him to spit it out. The student reveals that Ha-jun-gu was defeated, and there's a new leader at West Gangbuk. Yiha-han kicks him in the face and throws him away. He clarifies that he knows it must be hard for him to believe, but it's true. Someone called Tank Top Sehyeon. Yiha-han states that's not why he hit him. The student asks why he hit him. Yiha-han responds, asking if he is kidding and questioning why he would need to know that. Meanwhile, a student asks Seok Kang, who is the top dog of South Gangbuk High, if he has heard about something. Seok Kang inquires, asking what he heard. The student mentions that someone defeated Ha-jun-gu of West Gangbuk High. Seok Kang confirms that he has heard about it. The student then asks if someone called Tank Top Sehyeon did it. Seok Kang responds, saying apparently he's incredibly cruel and violent, and he wonders what Seok Kang is planning to do about him. Seok Kang states that he is sure he will be meeting him soon, especially since the Gangbuk conference is coming up. Meanwhile, Hyundong Lee writes Sehyeon Kim's name in the sand and thinks about the approaching Gangbuk conference. He ponders if this is yet another trial Sehyeon must overcome. He gets a call and answers it. Sehyeon Kim is on the other end. Hyundong Lee asks why he is calling him, reminding him that he said he didn't want to be contacted. Sehyeon responds, saying he did say that but not to worry about it. Hyundong Lee asks if he is crying. The system window notifies Sehyeon about the third quest for West Gangbuk High, attending the Gangbuk conference. Sehyeon asks when he said the Gangbuk conference was. The quest window notifies that the reward is 1 gold card and 10 bronze cards. Hyundong Lee points out that Sehyeon said he wasn't going to attend the conference at school. Sehyeon asks how he can refuse when the reward is 11 cards. Hyundong responds, questioning if Sehyeon is involved in gambling too. Sehyeon asserts that he will be there regardless. Hyundong acknowledges his decision and mentions that he will need to make the necessary preparations. Sehyeon asks about the preparations and what exactly he's preparing. Then he insists that whatever it is, he shouldn't do it, as he's only planning to attend. Hyundong questions if Sehyeon is up to something again. After a while, Sehyeon Kim sits in the classroom and notices a girl sitting nearby. The quest window notifies him that he used the peek at his card. He looks at a boy and then peeks at him. The quest window notifies him that he used the peek at his card. The boy asks what's up and says he felt really grossed out just now. Sehyeon Kim thinks this is fun, it's enjoyable to see other people's stats. The girl says it felt like some creep was watching her. The boy sitting beside her says he feels the same way. Sehyeon Kim wonders why people react like that when he sees their stats. Since the card is called Peek at him, could it be that the people he peeks at feel embarrassed? He ponders if it's really okay for him to use this card, and then contemplates what's even stranger. That this ability is level 2, which means he can rank up this skill, just like with the jab. It seems like he gets 1 experience point for every 2 people he peeks at, and if he is able to see more, his rank for this skill goes up to E. He thinks if that's the case, he really should not be peeking at anyone then. He looks towards Kyuja and says, peek at him. The quest window notifies him that he used the peek at his card. Kyuja blushes. He looks at him and wonders why this idiot is enjoying it, and says whatever. He calls Kyuja and says he's got to ask him something while observing his abilities on the quest window. He asks why his potential is S rank. Kyuja asks about his potential. He says never mind, it's nothing. Ignore what he just said, and think, what is with this guy? Upon leaving the school, Kyuja mentions that today is the day of the Gangbuk conference. Sehyeon Kim responds that if it were not for those 11 cards, he would never go. Kyuja asks about the cards. Sehyeon Kim replies no, it's nothing, and thinks he will just need to attend the conference to complete the quest, as he is only doing these quests because he has become addicted to receiving the reward. He thanks Kyuja for coming with him. Kyuja asks if he has a plan in place. Sehyeon Kim says he is just going to show up for the conference and make a run for it as soon as it's over. He thinks Hyundong said there will be attendees from East, South, and North Gangbuk High. Kyuja says he really hopes nothing goes down at the conference. He thinks those guys are going to be as scary as shit. He should not piss them off. Kyuja says he thinks that might not be possible. He asks why. Kyuja says to look in front of him. Hyundong Lee bows down in front of him with his subordinates and says greetings. Sehyeon Kim states that he does not even have the energy to get angry anymore and asks what they are up to this time. He explains that the Gangbuk conference is where the leaders of each high school in the Gangbuk district gather, and Hyundong has readied their people in case something goes down. He questions why they would do that. A student explained that they were the best fighters in the first year, and they all volunteered to join them. Another student mentions that one of them showed up even though his grandfather is deathly ill. The other student added that they knew his grandfather would support his decision. Another student asserts that they are all loyal to him and would happily lay down their lives for him. Kyuja says they should prepare themselves, as tonight they dine in hell. Sehyeon Kim tells him not to humor them, as people are assuming the worst. 2 girls pass by, observing them, and one of the girls remarks that they look like they are heading to a street fight. The other girl agrees, calling them brutes. Sehyeon Kim asserts that he told them not to engage in such actions. He instructs them to inform everyone else to go home, stating that only the 3 of them will attend the Gangbuk conference. Hyundong responds by expressing confidence in facing the individuals from the other schools alone, to which Sehyeon clarifies that it's not what he meant. He then dismisses everyone, urging them to go and see his grandfather. He tells Hyundong that they should proceed to the Gangbuk conference now, while internally questioning why things turned out this way. Meanwhile, a person is being badly beaten by Yi Ha-han, who insists on repeating what was said earlier and questioning why it cannot be reiterated. He expresses apologies. Yi Ha-han remarks that high school kids these days are frightening, slapping the person and inquiring if they are associated with a gang and which gang it is. Upon the person's assertion of being a gang member, he questions whether gang members are permitted to engage in such behavior. He makes a motion to slap the person again, insisting they must pay for the alcohol consumed. A bystander intervenes, grasping Yi Ha-han's hand to halt the assault. Yi Ha-han comments that perhaps the bystander isn't entirely timid and proceeds to attack. Another individual approached, addressing Yi Ha-han and apologizing for the interruption, mentioning that the Gangbuk conference would commence shortly. Yi Ha-han questions why he should attend such an event. Meanwhile, Sehyeon Kim arrives at an old building and inquires if the conference is taking place in a location like this. Hyundong Lee confirms, stating that it's a building that halted construction, subsequently turning into a somewhat dubious area where the conference is consistently held. He remarks that it appears exceedingly suspicious, even suggesting that one could potentially commit a murder here without detection. Hyundong Lee cautions Seo-hyun Kim against revealing any intentions of harming everyone at the conference that day. Seo-hyun Kim